Hey everyone, this is part 5 of the Let's Speedrun. First thing we're going to do is change the wind to south, because he won't actually let you get in the boat unless it's south for some reason. So we'll do that first. So the last thing we did was beat Dragon Roost Cavern. There were a bunch of tricks in there, which might take some practice. I'm sorry there's been like no updates for a while. I've just been kind of busy lately. But hopefully that's given you time to practice, you know, the first part of the game. I think the next section is a lot more interesting. The next dungeon is a lot more fun than the first one was to speedrun. There's a lot of cool tricks in it. Mostly because we have the Deku Leaf at that point, which is by far the most useful item in this game for speedrunning. Unfortunately, a lot of this video is going to be sailing and a cutscene with the Deku Tree, but there's still going to be some crucial tricks that you need to pay attention to. But for now, we're just heading south. Actually, we're heading slightly southeast, if you can tell from the compass. That'll take us straight to Forest Haven. But yeah, you can sail directly south and then just sort of align yourself when you see it in the distance. There's actually a bunch of things on the way that can stop you. Well, not stop you, but get in your way a little bit. First of all, there's this thing. Like, if you're not paying attention to where you're going, you can kind of stop against that for a bit. There's also like a boat or something with some guys on it, and again, if you're not paying attention and you're sail pumping, then your A press is going to trigger their text, which is pretty long actually, and that's caught me off guard before. I haven't been looking where I was going. There's also this little island coming up right ahead of me. You can sail in between those two little islands, but it's a lot easier when the water's lower. You'll notice that it goes up and down a lot. I don't know, I prefer to just sail to the left of it. I think it puts you more in line with Forest Haven, which you can already see in the distance. It's those two islands in the far distance. Another thing are these little cyclones. They aren't really that big of a problem. Yeah, as you can see, this one got me. All they do is kind of spin you around a little bit, change your direction. It's not a huge time loss. If it happens, just, you know, realign and start sail pumping again. The biggest problem that can actually happen along here is getting attacked by a big octo, or the giant squid thing that appears in the ocean. You'll know that that's going to happen because you'll see seagulls flying around you. The screen will turn dark, it will turn really stormy, and then a massive whirlpool will appear in the middle, much like the one on Outset Island when you're going to see Jabun later on in the game. You can't actually kill him right now. You need arrows or something to kill him, and you don't have those yet. So what to do if you do get attacked by the giant octo, just pause, save the game, and reload your file, and you'll be in the same quadrant that you were in, but not in the fight. Unfortunately, this can lose a bit of time based on which part of the quadrant you were at, but it's much faster than waiting for him to like capture you and spit you out again. It's pretty rare for that to happen, for the octo to catch you, but it's definitely happened to me before. It's happened on 1 or 2 runs. It's really demotivating. Well, anyway, we're at Forest Haven now. And we're going to do a really cool trick here to skip the sort of long grapple section up to the entrance of the Deku Trees area. But before we do that, we're actually going to change the wind to northwest, because that's where we want it to be, and we're not going to need the Wind Waker soon, so we're going to do that right now. This basically lets us skip a pause later if we change the wind right now. So yeah, wind done. Just climb up here, and go on to the third platform. And what we're going to do over here is we're going to run over to this ledge right in front of Link, roughly where this black line is, and we're going to run off of it, and right before he hits the edge we're going to pull out the Wind Waker. We're going to try to. Now, I'm nowhere near this edge, but what I want to do is hold down and constantly press B and then the button for the Wind Waker and sort of inch him towards the edge. Of course, the Deku Baba got me this time, which is something that happens if you're too far back, as I clearly was there. It's not a big deal, it's not that big of a time loss, you just go back up and try again. It's important to have the Wind Waker on either X or Y. It's much easier to do this trick if it's on those buttons, because the Z button is a lot harder to press. Now, I failed that again there in another common way. Link was too close to the edge when I tried to pull out the Wind Waker, so he just fell off. But third time's the charm, and we got it. You kind of want to wait for 1.5 beats and then press B to put the Wind Waker away. Don't wait too late. Then just sail across, or swim across the ocean, slightly left of where that loading zone is, and what will happen is when you get to it, Link just warps up to it, because there's water in there, and that's just how water works in this game. And yeah, normally you won't fail this trick, it's not really that hard. I kind of just wanted to show the problems with it, you know, being too close to the edge or being too far away from the edge. But normally you won't fail it too badly. And it skips a few grapples and a little bit of travelling. So we're at the Deku Tree now. What we're going to do is just ram into him and knock all the chews off of him. We're just going to do a bunch of spin attacks to get rid of them quickly. All the red ones appear first, and they're easier to kill than the greens. Alright, that looked like pretty good luck. They were all congregated in the same kind of area. A lot of the time they spread out a little bit. Sometimes one or two of them will troll you and jump all over the place, or, you know, go into their smaller state before you have a chance to hit them. And unfortunately, if that happens, there's nothing you can really do about it. You just have to wait for them to get back up. Later on, when we have the boomerang, we can actually hit them with that, and that forces them to get back up right away. So the Deku Tree in this game is a bit different from how he was in Ocarina of Time. He's sort of lost his wise old man effect, and now he's like some deformed, buck-toothed guy. I don't know. Maybe this is the Deku Sprout from Ocarina of Time, far in the future. And these of course are the Kokiri, 1,000 years after Ocarina of Time. It seems like everyone except for the Zara had to downgrade. There's a long quest you can do with these guys after you're done with this area involving forest water, where you like help to, I don't know, plant the Deku Tree's seeds all over the map or something. I've never actually done it, but a 100% run would do it. But of course, we have no use for that here. Ah yes, Mikar. I've never been a fan of Mikar. He's such a hassle in the Wind Temple. Actually, what's cool about speedrunning this game is that we pretty much ignore Mikar for the entire Wind Temple, which is awesome. Because he was like the worst part of that temple, like how slow he moves and how annoying it is to have to switch back to him all the time and plant trees with him. It's just a hassle. But yeah, we'll get to that later. That's quite a bit into the game. So now the Deku Tree is going to painfully give us the most useful item in the game. And what's really cool about this is you can actually use it to skip a lot of ledges and stuff and like get to a lot of places a little bit earlier than you should have. I've always had the impression that the developers of the game sort of expected that after we get out of Forbidden Woods we'd not really use the Deku Leaf that much. Like we'd kind of just use the newer items instead most of the time. You sort of overlooked a lot of things. Just a lot of little time savers, which make the Deku Leaf the most useful item in the game, in my opinion. So we're just navigating our way up here. When we get onto this platform up here, actually, we want to stand Link right on this thing here, in this general area, then just aim this at the middle. Oops. At the middle of that. And this way he's already aligned with the next flower. Normally when you stand on that leaf back there and shoot the grapple onto the pole, normally you have to stop swinging and realign him, which takes a really long time. So it's a much better idea to do this. So here we are, we're at the Deku Leaf. What we're going to do now is we're going to equip it over the Wind Waker, because we no longer need the Wind Waker since we already changed the wind to what we need it to be. For the next little while actually. So we're going to equip the Wind Waker and then we're going to save the game and warp. So we're going to put it on the Wind Waker and we're going to put it on Z because the tricks involving the Deku Leaf are much easier if it's on Z, in my opinion. Not everyone's going to agree with that. Some people are going to prefer it on X or Y. That's fine, just do whatever you're comfortable with. So a save warp here puts us right back at the boat. So we just jump in. We're going to sail over to this little island over here. And when we reach it, we're just going to stop, put the sail away, and just turn around. What we're going to do is we're going to jump out of this boat before the cyclone gets to us and then pull out the leaf. Like this. This looks really hard, but it really isn't that hard at all. It's kind of hard to mess it up. The only sort of risk with this trick is like kind of coming out of the boat too early or too late. If you're too late, he'll spin you around, and yeah, you'll have to wait for the cyclone to come back around. And of course the P-hat at the end can hit you, but not if you go to the right of him, which is what you should always do. And yeah, that skips having to change the wind twice, and it also skips a long leaf section outside. Saves a lot of time. So yep, we're in the second dungeon now, Forbidden Woods. In my opinion, this is one of the best dungeons in the game for speedrunning. I'm not going to do anything in it just yet. But yeah, there's a lot of tricks in here involving the Deku Leaf, and yeah, this is where things start to really get interesting in my opinion. Almost every room is broken in some way, usually involving the Deku Leaf. You know, there's a lot of little time savers in this place, and it looks really cool when it's done fast. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video, which hopefully isn't going to be too long, unlike this one which took forever for me to make. So yeah, stay tuned. Thanks for watching.